A long time ago, the planet of Darius went into ruin, but Proco and Tiat of Darius gave birth to a new planet and named it Olga. After the passing of many centuries, Proco Jr. and Tiat Young received, okay, fuck it, I'm not interested in the story anyway, there's no need for the fast text. Hello everybody, my name is Don, and today we're going to play Darius II, otherwise known as Sagaia, on the Sega Genesis. Originally a 1989 arcade game, it was ported to the Sega Genesis in 1991, and I think the Sega Genesis version is way better than the arcade game. The reason being, well, this version of the game is actually fair, and it also has better sounding music than the arcade version for some reason. But it is missing a couple of dialogue lines from the arcade game, which it's only 2 voiceovers, but no, I think the Genesis version is still better. Meet your characters. You got Proco Jr. who likes to shoot things, and you got Tiat Young who really wants her goddamn tuna sashimi. Now I'm gonna leave the game level on normal, but bump the player stock to 5 because this game is still kind of tough. You can also select your characters before you start the game in the options, Tiat being the blue ship and Proco being the red ship. Now, true story, that voiceover used to creep me the fuck out when I was younger. When I was 8, I was like, what the fuck was that sound effect? But back on the subject of the character differences, Tiat Young actually starts off more powered up than Proco does. So long story short, always play as Tiat because it takes less time for her to actually level up than it does for Proco. I don't know why that is. I guess that's to compensate for the lack of 2-player co-op. Oh yeah, that's another thing that was taken away from this version compared to the arcade version. There's no 2-player co-op. But then again, in my experience, I can just take or leave co-op because I tended to play these space shooters by myself. Or if I was playing co-op, it was more like in the Galaga or Gradius style where it was alternating turn-based, well not turn-based, but alternating score attack as opposed to an actual co-op. And that's why I'm not really a big fan of Life Force. I mean, granted, it's a good game, but I don't see the appeal of the 2-player mode in that game. I think the 2-player modes in games like Contra and Streets of Rage are better because there's an actual potential of you screwing each other over, which may not be fun for most people, but it is for me for some reason. I don't know, I come from a really competitive family. In other words, this version not having co-op does not bother me. I just kind of went onto that tangent for no reason. Anyway, the first level of the game, which is the freaking sun, is pretty easy. There are 3 different ship upgrades you can acquire. You got your main shot, which is red, you got your secondary shot, which is green, and then you have your shields, which are blue. Whenever you spot blinking versions of those, be sure to grab them. They'll upgrade your ship to the next set. Take my shield for example. It's green and it's at its base level. I can only take 3 hits before the thing disintegrates and I'm back to vulnerability. If I grab enough shield icons that are blinking, the shield will transform from green to silver and I can take 5 hits instead of 3. And you can even further upgrade your silver shield and transform it into a golden shield, which will take 8 to 10 hits to take down. The golden shield is what you want. Giant space fish. The Darius series has been weird in that instead of deities or aliens or mechanical beings, it's space fish. Like, fish. In space. What the hell? And there's another thing that sets Darius apart from other shoot-em-ups of the time. Branching pathways. Pick a path and just try to make the ending. For this playthrough, I showed off all 7 endings because I played the game 7 times. What am I doing with my life? I don't know, I was like, I wanted to show off all the endings of this game and I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And the alphabet spurts out at Jupiter for some reason. There are 2 Z's and 2 V's for some reason. This route of Mercury can be challenging because of the tight corridors, but the boss is really easy. You will also have this seahorse mini-boss that will come out halfway through the stage here. There will be turrets on the floors and the ceilings that will shoot slow-moving three-way spread shots. They're easy to avoid. There are also these dispenser things on the ceilings that will drop drills on you. Remember that if you smack into an enemy that's larger or relative to your size, or if you hit the walls, you'll die instantly, regardless of shield status. Here's that seahorse enemy. He's really easy to take down, you just have to shoot him in the head, and all he does is shoot lasers and try to ram at you. He went down like a bitch. Now the rest of the level should be simple, but there are moments where you have to dodge walls in order to not get crushed. I like the parallax scrolling here. This game has really good graphical effects for the time, especially on the Jupiter levels, but some of the graphical effects don't really hold up, like the outdoor levels for example, like on Earth. The parallax scrolling is a bit choppy there. And that sounds like a contradiction, I just complimented the graphics but I also bashed the graphics too, but we shall see when we get to Earth. And actually I think Venus has that same effect too, where the parallax was all screwed up. That thing on the floor is a screen clearing bomb, and they always seem to put them in the worst possible places in these Darius games because there are no enemies around them. I know, it's baffling. Let me grab that one up, thank you. You do get 3 continues in this game, so Darius II is generous in that regard, unlike a certain other game in the series. Alloy Lantern here is piss easy. He'll shoot these small bullets which will then spread out into 6-way bullets. You just destroy the antenna in order for him to stop doing that. He'll also shoot these lasers which are easy to dodge but are dangerous if you get caught in the middle of it. His weak point is the mouth laser. Oh no, my shield power up, no! I'll get it back. If there's one thing you need to do in Darius games is don't die because it'll downgrade tremendously, or completely in some cases, and it's really hard to come back from. Full speed ahead, Sulu! Alright, so normally you would go to Venus after Mercury, but since I'm showing all the pathways, I'm doing the second Mercury mission. Huh, that's strange. Either you can fly a ship near the sun and suffer no consequences, or you die by just simply glancing at it. It makes no sense. But either way, I'm doing this playthrough in alphabetical order, so you're gonna see like A, B, C, D instead of like A, B, D, G, K. Like, you know, like how I normally would do it. And yes, I can see that Shadow the Hedgehog drew inspiration from Darius and even Outrun with the branching pathways, but I'm not going to make any references to that game because that game sucks. But now I'm playing as Tiat Young, who, like I stated before, is more powerful to boot than Proco is. I don't know, maybe beginner-friendly character? I still don't get it. But look, I'm already at 4-way laser, I just barely started the stage. Here's the same seahorse enemy from before. And again, we're at the beginning of the stage and we're already at the mini-boss. Some pathways are harder than others, as evident by things happening way more in advance in certain pathways as opposed to others. I hope that makes sense because it's kind of confusing. But say a mini-boss spawns in at the beginning of the stage, and in another pathway, the mini-boss could spawn in at the end of the stage, and then the boss appears. But other than that, as well as the scenery change, the bosses for the most part don't really change that often for the early part of the game. Later, however, that's when they start to add more bosses for the different pathways. I think the unique bosses for the different pathways either starts at Earth or the Moon, I'm not really sure which one. And I almost lost a life right there, I don't know how the hell I managed to escape that. Problem solved. It was like I never lost a shield in the first place. This game is fun in that there's 28 stages, but you can only go through 8 at a time, which adds to the replay value because you can't beat every stage in one playthrough. You have to play the game multiple times, which I tend to like stuff like that. Nier Automata did that, Trials of Mana did that as well. Yes, even that game with the hedgehog that I refuse to name because it's dumb, and I don't know why people play that. That game did that too. And we're rapidly approaching the boss, which is unfortunately the same as before. It's Alloy Lantern. He shoots his 6-way bullets and his lasers and stuff, and you gotta shoot him in the mouth to kill him. Now, for future parts, I probably will be fast-forwarding through some of the boss fights because we'll most likely be seeing them a lot. So yeah, I'll just be doing that, or just skip them entirely, I don't know. I'm 100% certain that sound effect was from another Sega Genesis game. I'm not sure if it was Shining in the Darkness or one of the Shining Force games, but I'm 100% certain that sound effect was there somewhere. Don't fret, he's not easy to take down, or he's not hard to take down. What am I saying? He is easy to take down. Oh, I can't even talk today. Dude, poor fish. He's probably thinking to himself, I'm getting shot by lasers in the mouth, they don't taste that good. And how appropriate that I made that sound as he died. That's sad. But that's the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 where we take on Venus. Oh shit.